TISM Talk time.
Welcome to TISM Talk, the show about motorsports and being on the spectrum. If you're new to the channel, you might be surprised that I recently signed up for a motocross event. Motocross racing is not something that I do, and it was a big risk for me because there's a lot of change. Change in the discipline, change in the format, change in the place, change in the people. So it was pretty stressful for me. I was able to go a week before, the weekend before the race, and practice the track, which was great because I got to memorize it and kind of get an idea of what was going on. So that felt really good. All week I was stressing about this event. I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't mow the lawn. I could barely cook food. It was pretty rough, but finally the race week comes. I load up the bike, we get all of our clothes, and we head to the track, which is about a 2-hour drive on a Mexican highway, which is just nightmarishly stressful because people pass around corners, and it's just really not a safe place to drive. So the drive itself is already kind of puts you on edge. So I get to the track and unload the bike and wait. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I don't know about you, but when someone says something is going to happen at this time, usually 15 minutes grace period is okay, but 30 minutes is starting to get annoying. 45 is like, hey man, what are you doing? It was multiple hours before they finally said, hey, you can go on the track. If you're new, you don't know this about me, but I am always the first guy on the track and the last one off. So my first lap, I go around, and there is a double. It's kind of a big commitment double. It's a blind double into a left-handed corner. In mid-air, I noticed that there is caution tape covering half the track. And I was actually on the right side of the double thinking that that was the route that I would need to take, and that was the side that was blocked off. So I actually have to slam the front and the rear brakes just to try to not go through the caution tape. I should have just slammed through the caution tape, and it scared the living crap out of me because I almost went down. So I keep going through the track very slowly now because I'm scared, and there is tape everywhere. There's tape on every inside of every corner. It gets to the point where I just jump off the track, ride back to the pits, and slide my bike perpendicular to the entrance, as to say, do not enter the track. It is not safe. Now I have a language barrier. I cannot express myself the way that I want to express myself to the event organizer. Eventually, the event organizer does come up to me and starts talking to me, and he says something, and I totally understand what he's saying, that yes, he put the tape out, and he put it out to protect the racing line for the race, and I reply in English, why? Just angrily, why? I was really upset. And he switches to English, which was crazy, and he was saying to me that it was to protect the racing line so that for the race, the line would be good. And I was like, dude, that is super dangerous. What are you doing? You can't do that. And he was just like, oh, well, that's basically just kind of that's the way it's done. Yeah, so that sucked. Anyways, I do another lap knowing that this stupidity is out there, and I get off the lap to tell some of my training partners, my newfound friends from the local abandoned track, to tell them, hey, the dirt's really soft, you can make some changes to your setup. And they're like, thanks man, that's really appreciated. I go back out to do another lap. I do another really slow lap. I'm rolling the doubles, I'm rolling everything, just kind of getting a feel for the dirt, and someone flags me and says, hey, get off the track, you're done. So I got a total of I didn't even get a full lap in, a full speed lap, and I was done with practice for the day. Now, this is my first motocross race, so I expect there to be issues where I don't understand, but I was completely dumbfounded that I had spent 2 hours driving, 30 minutes packing up, probably another 10-15 minutes getting my bike off, another 10 minutes putting my gear on, getting the bike warmed up. Also that I could ride a grand total of 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It was so hard for me to get to be in a good mood. I didn't film anything. It was tough. That day was really, really tough for me. Now, autistic people do have problems with changes, and I understand that. I go into a new style of racing expecting to be really, really agitated. But this was too much for me, and eventually I said goodbye to my friends. I was like, what time do I need to be here tomorrow? And they said, oh, well, the race starts at 8. It's like, fine, whatever. I'll be here at 8 tomorrow. But don't even think that that is how that went. Next morning, I wake up. I get there at 8. I'm ready. My bike is warmed up. I got my gear on. I'm ready to rock and roll. I look over and realize that they're starting to move the tractor onto the track. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a weird thing to be doing right now. So I talk to somebody and say, no, we're going to be another hour. Okay, that's weird. So I turn the bike off, try to keep it in its general warm range, and then another hour comes by. The tractor's still out there. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we're still working on the track. It's gonna be another hour. Needless to say, the race I was told to be there started at 8 o'clock in the morning. We did not start the race, and I'm the first race of the day. N2 is my class. N2 races first. We did not start our race until 11. I think it was like 11:30. So infuriating. Like, I know for normal people that's really frustrating. And I also know that I need to Latinize because it's Mexico and things take a lot longer. But it seemed to me like they had no schedule. They had no idea what was going on. And for someone like me who schedules everything and can do things in order, it was really, really, really frustrating. Finally, they call us up and say, get on the line. We're going to do the race. I'm on the line. I'm ready. I'm getting in my head. I'm getting my frame of mind. Got the bike good. I'm doing my clutch props to make sure I get good traction. And then the guy comes over and does the shut your engine off motion. Of course, we all shut our engines off, but we look out there and there is a water truck on the track. Like, the track hadn't been ridden on all day. It was moist still from the rain from the last night. Did not need to be watered. Okay? Whatever. Get the water out there. And then another water truck comes on the track, even bigger. So this big water truck gets stuck. As it does. So this whole conundrum of the water trucks getting stuck, not knowing how to get off the track, it takes another half an hour. I'm not joking. I counted 3 times where the event organizer told us to get ready, get our engines going, we're going to go. And 3 times he came back and said, no, go ahead and turn your engines off. I don't know about you. I don't know if this is an autistic thing, but when I get into the frame of mind to race, it is really hard for me to get out. So when they keep taking me in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out of that frame of mind, by the time we actually raced, I was just like, what the actual F is going on? It was really, really hard for me to be into the race. So overall, the race was like, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It was eventless, really. The first moto, I came in 4th place, which was incredible because this was 2 classes up from the bottom on my first motocross race. I'm not a novice, so I'm not going to enter novice class, but to do well in a class of people who, are relatively competent, it's pretty freaking cool. And I'm feeling pretty happy about this. Happy. So I go back to the hotel. I return the key, and I actually offered to shoot a couple of videos for the hotel. So I did. We stayed. We shot some videos for the hotel, and then we head back to the race to watch the experts. Well, after the experts go, I hear over the announcement, N2, Class N2 needs to line up for your second moto. Now, for a lot of you moto guys, you're like, yeah, no duh. Of course you gotta line up for your second moto. I made it very clear when I signed up that I don't know what's going on. I asked many questions about this. Did not know what was going on. In fact, my wife ran to the official tent to ask, hey, what's up? Are we doing 2 races? And the guy says to her, yes, you paid for 2 races, but he only has to do 1. The second race doesn't matter. She comes back and tells me this, and I'm thinking, there's no freaking way that's how that works. There's no way. If they're going to do 2 races, they're going to tally up the points. That's how it's going to work. So she asks, are you going to race the race? I'm like, yes, I'm freaking racing the race. I barely get to the start line before they start, because the second moto, they're ready. They don't have the water trucks on the track. They don't have all this. They're ready. And I barely get to the gate in time. Second corner in, I go down. And I go down not super hard, but hard enough to bend my bars. And I don't know, I think it was a mix between super being frustrated and just that hit to the ground. I just flipped the switch. I was like, this is dumb. I am not going to stop. I refuse to back down now. Turn down the switch and hit it. I was 10 seconds a lap faster the second moto than I was the first moto. 10 seconds a lap. It was insane. I ended up passing. So when I crashed, I was in dead last, and within 10 minutes, I was in with like 3 laps, so 6 minutes, I was in 3rd place. So I went from dead last to 3rd place and finished the moto in 3rd place. I didn't know that though, because the people at the tent thought I got 4th. Nobody told me or told anyone what place they got. They just expected everyone to wait around for the awards ceremony. The thing is, I live 2 hours away and there was really heavy rain coming, so I wanted to beat the rain home. And I already assumed, hey, I got 4th place. I did really well. I'm happy with myself. Let's just get home before the rain comes. Later that day, I get a message from a friend that says, hey, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Picture of a trophy. And I'm just like, what the actual crap is going on? So yeah, clearly I'm really excited about getting 3rd place, but I find myself, I think that what happens is I let my frustrations take over the experience, and I just can't really experience it the way that it's meant to be. I think that motocross is an entire day event. It's not an entire day of riding. It's just the whole experience around motocross. You're supposed to go around and greet people. You're supposed to go around and talk to people and talk about bikes and stuff. That's not really something I do. If I'm on my bike or if I'm near my bike, all I want to do is train. So it was really, really difficult for me to socialize. And I'm sorry, moto guys, but that's what motocross is about. It's about socializing. You are there all day, and then 5% of the time you're racing. So it was really, really difficult for me to understand that, hey, I'm not here to race. Come on, guys, you're really not. You're there for 5% of the time to race. I'm here to socialize and then race 5% of the time. So I do like motocross. I think it's super fun. It's just I didn't understand what I was walking into. And now that I do, I think maybe my next time I will have different expectations. For someone on the spectrum, whether it be very far on the spectrum or very high functioning, we need to know what to expect before we go into something. Otherwise, it is overwhelming. I can't express how overwhelming it is to expect the race to start at 8 and then be told over and over and over again that it's going to be a different time. So by the time I actually got to my first moto, I was just so overwhelmed that even the sound of my own bike was a lot.
TISM Talk time. It's TISM Talk time.